Well, I think Robinhood's CEO publicly apologized for the fact that their firm did not have sufficient capital on deposit with their clearing firms to handle the spike in trading in GameStop and AMC. And that was a critical problem because that hurt customers of Robinhood on those key days. Subsequently, they raised capital, they're recapitalized, are in good financial condition, but it was a tough moment for his customers. And I think he paid a reputational cost for that lack of risk management.
Yeah, that was you're talking about Vlad Tenev, and he's the gentleman we saw there in the soundbite. You're also referencing Dodd-Frank, which after the financial crisis sort of set a minimum of, I think, around $3 billion for broker-dealers to have just in case something like this happens. What did you learn about the relationship yesterday between Citadel and Robinhood?
Well, this certainly clears up a lot of the social media conspiracy theories that allege that because Robinhood routes trades through Citadel Securities, that somehow hedge funds pressured Robinhood to stop trading and therefore allow the hedge funds to benefit. I think it was cleared up that that was not the case. But it is the case that Citadel Securities routes trades for best execution for Robinhood for about half of their trades. And that's a very common practice in the securities business.
Right.
Paying for order flow, as it's called, allows Robinhood to earn money from Citadel Securities for routing those trades in order to get best execution for their customers. And that in turn allows Robinhood to offer commission-free trading and some of the other benefits that their company offers potential investors.
Yeah, Congressman, originally this was dubbed as like a Wall Street versus the little guy, Wall Street versus Main Street situation. And Roaring Kitty, he was on yesterday. Keith Gill, that's his Twitter handle is Roaring Kitty. He was, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about him here on the show, and he was sort of the hero of the little guy. It turns out he might be a registered investor. I don't think he's registered with FINRA. I don't think he's taken the Series 7 or anything like that. But he is getting a real hard look by the SEC right now, isn't he?
He is. He did confirm to the committee yesterday that he's not a cat, and we took that into account, and we're glad to hear it. But when you look at Reddit and bulletin boards, back in the dot-com boom in 2000 and the 2000 crash, communication on bulletin boards was a part of the run-up in a lot of those stock prices. So I'm sure the SEC will look carefully at Reddit and the Wall Street Bets subgroup on Reddit to see how they were communicating and if in any way was that bulletin board environment inducing sales and trading. And that could be a violation of SEC manipulation laws. It's a very tough charge and would require a lot of facts and circumstances research on the part of the SEC, but it did come up yesterday.
Congressman, are you for companies like Robinhood and these companies that allow everyday people like myself to sort of buy and sell stocks? Don't you think they've done a real service for everyday Americans?
I do. I was the Republican lead on our FinTech task force in the last Congress. I'm a strong believer in financial technology and how it's aiding investors to get credit, to make payments, and to do stock investing at lower cost with more transparency. I'd say, Rob, the key issue is that any firm offering that needs to make sure they have all the compliance I's dotted to protect investors and to make sure they're well capitalized in order to offer the services that they have. But given that, complying with the FINRA rules, yes, I think this helps a lot of small investors enter the market and learn about the market and long-term investing. If my memory is right, Robinhood's average account size is about $3,600.
Yeah, and it's just the story was, it was about this small group on Reddit, and these guys were able to take on the big guy, and it was interesting to see this sort of play out yesterday. I want to talk about something that's going on in your home state of Arkansas right now, but first, and I know this is way too early, but do you think we see SEC regulations implemented as a result of what happened a month ago with GameStop?
Well, I think it's important for people to take away from the hearing yesterday that the equity market plumbing worked as expected, both in the short market and in the calls for that capitalization for the clearing firm for Robinhood. So I thought that the system worked very well in the face of this clear stock market bubble in GameStop. So that's point one. Point two is, I think there are going to be additional hearings that will look at disclosure on short positions, evaluate payment for order flow, and some other topics. But these are longstanding topics in consideration for our capital markets, which are the most competitive in the world. They're not specifically connected to anything that happened during the week around GameStop.
I guarantee you've never been part of a House Committee on Financial Services hearing with the chiefs of Robinhood, Reddit, Citadel, Melvin Capital, and somebody named Roaring Kitty. By the way, we should mention that GameStop stock, if you bought it 6 months ago, it closed yesterday at just over $40 a share. It's still way up from where it was originally. It's not at $483 a share. But I'm going to play some video here. This is the Arkansas-Texas border. I know your district. I've been to it. I've been to Eureka Springs, a little bit to the north in the Ozarks there. But this is the road on the right-hand side of the screen is plowed, salted, and beautiful, easy to drive on. The road on the left-hand side of your screen is the Lone Star State, the state of Texas. Of course, they're dealing with so many issues there, but it's amazing. Right on the state line there, it's a tale of two different states. Why is Texas so underprepared for this terrible winter storm?
Well, you'll have to ask Governor Abbott that question, but I love seeing the fact that the good side of the border down at Texarkana is clear and dry. Our guys have done a great job. We had as much as 17 inches of snow between Texarkana and Little Rock, and our road crews have been out nonstop. Most of our Arkansas citizens have been able to maintain power. So my hat's off to Entergy, the Arkansas